Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
Zyra stood in the center of the exile square, her hands shackled and her heart heavy. The air buzzed with a cacophony of voices, some jeering, others eerily silent. The alien world of Valoria was vibrant with deep cerulean skies and bioluminescent flora. But here, in this public spectacle, everything felt bleak and oppressive. She glanced up at the towering structures surrounding the plaza, all designed with intricate carvings that told tales of heroes and legends. But today, no tales of courage would find their way into the minds of the gathered crowd. Only the story of a condemned alien woman captured in her moment of disgrace. "Look at the traitor!" shouted a voice from the back, throwing a stick that hit her shoulder. Zyra grimaced, but did not cry out. She would not give them the satisfaction of seeing her pain. Standing at the periphery of the crowd, Kalen marveled at the brutal spectacle unfolding before him. As a human from Terra Solis, he had traveled to Valoria for research, but nothing could prepare him for the sights before him. The customs of this alien world were vastly different, and he felt an overwhelming sense of horror. He had studied alien cultures in theory, fascinated by their rituals and beliefs. But this was something else entirely. The act of shaming someone in public seemed barbaric, a cruel reminder of control and domination. His heart raced as he saw another stick fly toward Zyra, a cruel smile lingering on the face of the thrower. Driven by a mix of fear and instinct, Kalen's mind raced with thoughts of action. He felt helpless, craving a way to intervene, but knowing he would be no ally in this situation, an outsider judged by the very same crowd that scorned Zyra. In that moment, their eyes met. Zyra's fierce gaze locked onto his. Confusion momentarily washed over Kalen, but he saw something deeper beneath her anger: resilience. Her spirit would not be broken. Kalen's breath caught in his throat. He took a step closer, despite the warnings of danger ringing in his ears. For a fleeting second, Zyra's expression softened, her eyes searching for hope amid the hostility. The crowd's taunts faded into a dull roar as their worlds collided in a brief moment of understanding. "Why?" Zyra mouthed, one word filled with despair. Kalen struggled to find a response, a way to convey that he was not like the others. He gestured with his hands, trying to symbolize an urge to protect her, but the language barrier hung heavily between them. Suddenly, a louder voice broke the moment. "Enough!" boomed an authoritative figure, clad in the traditional garb of Thaloria's enforcers. "This is no place for sympathy. Let her learn her lesson." With that, fresh anger surged through Kalen, forcing him into action. He was no longer a mere spectator. He was a human capable of change, even in a realm he barely understood. He felt adrenaline course through him as he took a breath and made a decision. If he could not speak the language of these people, then he would find another way to communicate. Kalen clenched his fists and stepped toward the front of the crowd, determination set in his heart. "Stop!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the jeers. Surprised silence fell upon the plaza, and Zyra looked at him wide-eyed. Where most felt fear, Kalen felt a surge of hope. The crowd fell silent, their jeers replaced by whispers and curious glances directed at Kalen. He felt the weight of their stares like 1,000 eyes boring into him, but he didn't waver. Standing in opposition to the crowd, he focused on Zyra. "What are you doing?" the enforcer barked, stepping forward. His towering figure loomed over Kalen, eyes narrowed with suspicion. "Do you wish to share her fate?" "I'm here to help," Kalen replied, his voice steady despite the panic bubbling beneath the surface. "This isn't justice, it's cruelty. You can't treat her like this." The enforcer's stern expression twisted into a sneer. "You speak of justice in a place where it does not exist. She is guilty. Each boo and stick thrown is a testament to her betrayal. Stay out of it, human." "Betrayal? For what?" Kalen pressed, stepping forward. "You don't even know her story. Perhaps she was framed, or—" "Enough!" the enforcer interrupted, raising a hand as he took a step closer, his features a mask of anger and authority. "You are a stranger here. Your words mean nothing." But as Kalen stood his ground, Zyra couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. Although the situation looked dire, this human's courage ignited something within her, a reminder of her own strength, one she had almost forgotten amid the humiliation. "Listen to me," Kalen said, his voice rising slightly, fueled by urgency. "Let her go. I'll take responsibility for her." Laughter erupted from the crowd. An alien voice yelled, "You think you can protect her? You already have no power here." Kalen ignored them, his focus locked on Zyra. "I don't care what the others think. I see your worth, and these sticks won't define you." Zyra felt her heartbeat quicken. "You don't know me," she murmured, but the warmth of his words somehow made her feel less alone. "True," Kalen admitted, "but I want to know you. We can find out the truth together." The enforcer's voice boomed again. "You would risk your life for a condemned traitor? You are a fool." "I might be," Kalen retorted boldly, "but I'd much rather be a fool fighting for someone than standing by and doing nothing." A beat of silence passed as the enforcer reevaluated the situation, a storm of emotions flaring behind his cold gaze. Finally, he seemed to relent a fraction. "You have 10 breaths to decide, human. Offer your life for hers, or step aside and let justice be served." Kalen weighed his options. He felt the swell of uncertainty clashing with determination. This was not what he had come to the Loria for, but the thought of letting Zyra suffer was unbearable. Taking a deep breath, he declared, "I choose her." The crowd gasped, murmurs rising like a wave. The enforcer's expression hardened. "So be it. If you wish to take her place, you do so knowing the consequences of your choice. The Plaza will judge you in her stead." With that, he signaled the guards to loosen Zyra's chains, allowing her to step forward, her eyes wide with a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. "You would do this for me," she breathed, taken aback by his selflessness. "I can't just stand by and watch them destroy you," Kalen replied, feeling his resolve strengthen with her gaze. "Together, we'll fight to uncover the truth." As Zyra stepped into the safety of his side, adrenaline coursed through them. The crowd had watched a unique alliance form before their eyes, a human and an alien, both tethered by a fate they had not anticipated. But the enforcer only laughed, his amusement ringing hollow. "Foolish love will not save you from the consequences of your choices. Prepare yourselves for your trial." As they stood together, a flicker of defiance ignited within Zyra. Kalen's bravery stirred something deep inside her. This human had chosen her over the easy path. Together, perhaps they could find a way to escape this fate. The atmosphere in the exile square shifted as Kalen and Zyra stood side by side, defiance radiating from their joined presence. The enforcer gestured to the assembled crowd with a grand flourish, signaling the onset of the trial. "Citizens of Valoria, today, you witnessed the folly of a human who would choose to stand with a traitor. Let this trial be a lesson against betrayal and misplaced loyalties." Kalen clenched his jaw, forcing himself to remain calm as the crowd murmured, excitement intermingled with disgust. He felt the weight of their gazes and the judgment already being cast. But beside him, Zyra's strength bolstered his resolve. "Surrender yourself to the truth, Kalen," she whispered, her voice steady despite the looming uncertainty. "No matter what happens today, I will not let them break me." Her words injected a renewed sense of determination in him. "We will face this together, Zyra. They may judge us, but we'll show them who we are." The enforcer motioned for silence, his voice echoing across the plaza. "We will now hear the accusations against Zyra of Valoria. She stands accused of treason, having betrayed her people. What say you, the witnesses?" With heavy hearts, several members of the crowd stepped forward, recounting tales of Zyra's supposed betrayal, stories spun from half-truths and exaggeration. Kalen listened intently, noting the patterns in their accusations. Each story seemed more like a reflection of their own fears than anything truly tangible. The enforcer stepped forward again, glancing at Kalen with disdain. "And you, human, what defense do you offer for this alien's transgressions? Do you, too, claim she is innocent?" "I don't know the specifics of her alleged crime," Kalen began, heart racing. "But I do know that everyone deserves a chance to tell their story. The bonds we share are built on trust and understanding, not prejudice." The crowd grew restless, their murmurs turning to sneers. "You are a fool, human. This creature is a disgrace." "Enough," the enforcer thundered, cutting through the growing chaos. If she is so innocent, let her prove it. Zyra, you will be given the opportunity to recount your tale. Speak. Zyra took a deep breath, mustering all her courage as she stepped toward the center of the plaza. I am no traitor, she proclaimed, her voice trembling but resolute. I was framed by those who fear change. I fought for my people's freedom rather than succumb to tyranny. The enforcer smirked, dismissing her words with a wave. And how do you justify your actions then? You chose to sever ties with your kin. Because I saw the truth. Zyra pressed, her passion rising. What you consider loyalty is nothing more than blind obedience to a corrupt system. There are whispers among our ranks of rebellion. I sought to unite our people, but my vision was twisted into betrayal. Kalen felt his heart swell with admiration. Zyra's strength sparked a fire within him, urging him to add his voice. She speaks of the need for change. Are we not capable of evolution and progress? We're more than the roles assigned to us. A ripple of hesitation passed through the crowd as whispers grew louder. A murmur of dissent sparked among those who had been disillusioned by the enforcer's regime. Let them decide, someone shouted from the crowd. Are we merely puppets of their desires? The enforcer glared, the tension palpable, and his grip tightened around his weapon. Enough. This is not a place for debate. I will have order. Kalen glanced at Zyra, determination ignited in their shared gaze. This is our moment. We can turn their fear into hope, he said softly. Yes, Zyra replied, her eyes brightening. If we can sway even a few, it may be enough to change their minds. In that instant, defiance took root. Together, they turned to the crowd. For too long, we have been puppets. It's time to cut the strings. Kalen shouted, emboldened. A wave of murmurs echoed as some members began to shift, nodding their heads, while others still clung stubbornly to their hatred. Stand with us, Zyra added, her voice rising. The strength of our unity can break the chains that bind us. As the crowd swelled with emotion, Kalen and Zyra held their ground, aware that this could either lead to their downfall or the beginning of something far greater than themselves. The enforcer, seeing the tide shifting, let out a furious roar. You will not sway their minds, traitor and fool. You will face the consequences of your actions. But it was too late. Seeds of change had been planted, and the plaza was becoming a battleground for thoughts and ideals. The tension in the exile square hung thick like the electric charge before a storm. Kalen and Zyra stood firm, their hearts pounding as they faced the enforcer, who was slowly losing control over the crowd. You think you can incite a revolt with mere words, the enforcer spat, his voice laced with venom. This is not a revolution, it's chaos. But Kalen could see that the crowd was beginning to sway, buoyed by the vision Zyra painted of a brighter future. Whispers of dissent turned into murmurs of hope as some members stepped forward, emboldening others to consider the possibilities. We have a right to our own choices, shouted one alien, stepping away from the gathered throng. We are not slaves to fear. As if provoked by the defiance, the enforcer unleashed his anger. He turned to his guards, barking orders. Arrest them. We will not be led into rebellion by a traitor and an outsider. Before Kalen could react, several guards surged forward, but the crowd shifted, a wave of bodies pushing against the enforcers, creating a buffer. No, someone shouted. Let them speak. In that fleeting chaos, Zyra seized the moment. This is your chance. Stand beside us, she urged, her voice cutting through the tumult. We can break these chains together. The crowd began to chant, voices rising in a collective roar. Freedom, change, unity. Kalen felt a surge of adrenaline wash over him, emboldened by the spirit of the crowd. He stepped forward, his heart racing. We came here seeking answers, not punishment. Together, we can discover the truth about the corruption festering within our systems. Zyra's eyes sparkled with a fierce determination, and she raised her voice. That's right. We need to share our stories. Let's unite our strength against those who would exploit our fears. The enforcer's face turned a deep shade of red, fury marking every line of his brow. They are fools to believe the likes of you. You will suffer for your betrayal. Kalen and Zyra exchanged quick glances, determination coursing through them. They had ignited a spark of rebellion, one that could not be quelled so easily. Your cruelty will no longer hold us captive. Zyra cried, echoing the fervor of the crowd. We are capable of more than what you see. We can learn to trust again. The chanting grew louder as others joined in, their voices merging into a fervent plea for change. Freedom. Change. Unity. Suddenly, in the height of the commotion, the enforcer raised his weapon, and Kalen's heart sank. The crowd gasped, silence settling over them like a dense fog. One more word and I will strike. But Kalen stepped forward, unwavering. You fear us because we are stronger together. Your reign of terror ends today. We refuse to let you dictate our destinies any longer. With each word, Kalen drew upon his courage, the warmth of Zyra's spirit fueling his resolve. He glanced around at the crowd, seeing their faces filled with hope and defiance. Zyra took his hand, a reassuring grip that solidified their bond. We will stand together. We will be heard, she shouted, her voice unwavering. The enforcer hesitated, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face as the crowd surged forward, emboldened by their resolve. You may try to incite rebellion, but I will not allow it, he bellowed, his voice cracking. No one can silence our desires for freedom. Kalen shouted back, we will be the architects of our own fates. With that, the thrumming energy of the crowd reached its peak. In a bold movement, Kalen stepped closer to the enforcer, who was slowly losing his grip. Your time is over. Either stand with us in creating a new future or face the consequences of your tyranny. Fueled by courage, the crowd erupted into another round of chants, their voices rising high above the plaza. Freedom. Change. Unity. The enforcer faltered, glancing from Kalen to Zyra, the swell of emotion from the crowd closing in around him. For a brief moment, they could see doubt etched in his features, an acknowledgement that perhaps the power he wielded was not invincible. Just then, a shadowed figure emerged from the back of the crowd, a familiar face that caught Kalen's eye. It was Ryler, a respected elder of Valoria, known for his wisdom and integrity. The crowd parted as he made his way to the forefront of the scene. What is the meaning of this? Ryler demanded, his voice carrying the weight of authority. Kalen, an instinctive sense of hope surged. Elder Ryler, we are standing against the oppression that has plagued our people. We seek truth and freedom. Ryler turned his gaze to Zyra, then to Kalen, and finally settled on the enforcer. Your tyranny ends here. We must listen to the voices of our people, not drown them out in fear. This is our chance to build a new future. With Ryler's presence igniting the crowd, every heart raced with anticipation. Would they finally find liberation from the shadows of oppression? With Elder Ryler commanding attention, the atmosphere in the exile square shifted. His reputation as a wise leader gave weight to Kalen and Zyra's cause, and the crowd grew restless with anticipation, the air crackling with potential. Kalen glanced at Zyra, and she nodded, urging him to take the lead as Ryler stood tall, imposing and wise. Elder Ryler, Kalen began, his voice steady. We stand at a crossroads, a moment where we can choose between the shackles of tyranny and the freedom to forge our destinies. The enforcer's reign has stifled our voices far too long. Ryler fixed his gaze on the enforcer, who squirmed under the elder's scrutiny. It is time we listen to the echoes of our people's suffering, not suppress them with fear. Speak, Zyra, tell us your truth. Zyra stepped forward again, her heart racing but her resolve unyielding. I was accused of betrayal for seeking unity among my people, a vision of collaboration instead of divisiveness. But in voicing those ideas, I became a target. Today, I stand not only for myself, but for those who fear to speak out. As she spoke, the crowd echoed her sentiments with nods and murmurs of agreement, their anger gradually shifting into something more profound, hope. Kalen saw the enforcer's grip loosen slightly on his weapon, a crack forming in the wall of authority he had constructed. Your accusations are rooted in fear, Kalen continued. Fear of change and fear of the unknown. But change is inevitable. Let it be a change for good. Change, the enforcer scoffed, regaining some of his bravado. What is to stop chaos from ruling if you take control? Ryler stepped forward, his voice unyielding. Chaos is bred from oppression, not from freedom. The true strength of our people lies in unity and understanding. It is time to reshuffle our leadership and our way of thinking. The crowd's chants rose again, echoing Ryler's words. Unity, freedom, change. With their voices intertwining in a rising crescendo, Kalen could feel the winds of transformation. He turned back to Zyra, her face illuminated with hope. This is our moment, Zyra. Together, we can reshape our future. As the energy swirled around them, the enforcer took a step back, realizing the tide had turned against him. His connection to power was slipping through his fingers, and for the first time, uncertainty colored his gaze. "Is this what you want?" he shouted, desperation bleeding into his tone. "A future where accountability no longer exists." "Accountability should be to the people, not to your fear." Kalen shot back. "Our choices unite us, and together we rise as one." Zyra stepped forward, lifting her chin, her courage undeniable. "I stand here not just as an individual, but as a representative of the many who have been silenced. We will no longer be victims of your tyranny. We demand a chance to build, to grow, and to thrive together." The crowd erupted again, their chants now a powerful anthem of resistance. Unity, freedom. Seeing the fervor in the people's eyes, the enforcer's shoulders slumped, the weight of dissent finally crashing down upon him. "You want unity and freedom," he hissed, fury bubbling over. "Then you shall face the consequences of your actions." But before he could react further, Ryler raised his voice. "We stand at a pivotal moment, one that calls for justice, not punishment. Will you continue to act as a tyrant, or will you hear the voices of the people?" The enforcer hesitated, caught between the past he had ridden for power and the future that shimmered on the horizon. It was then that the realization settled in. The people had spoken, and their cries could not be ignored. "Perhaps," he stammered, his confidence wavering, "perhaps I can listen, just this once." "Together," Kalen urged, "we can create a new council that represents everyone, a place where all voices matter. It starts with the choice to let go of hatred." As the crowd cheered, Kalen turned to Zyra and pulled her close. "This is yours. Your courage has shown them what's possible." Tears brimmed in Zyra's eyes, overwhelmed by the unity surrounding them. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of a future they might shape together. "We did this, Kalen. We spoke our truth." As the enforcer lowered his weapon, surrendering at last to the power of the people, Kalen and Zyra stepped toward a new beginning, a transformative dawn rising over the Loria. In that moment, they knew that together, they would build a legacy of unity and hope, leaving behind the shadows that had loomed for so long. As the crowd surged around them, the moment of victory hung in the air like a fragrant blossom about to bloom. The enforcer, now standing down, had surrendered his authority, but in its place, something new was taking root. With every cheer and chant, the spirit of liberation surged through the plaza, a pulse that resonated with every soul present. Zyra and Kalen grasped hands tightly, feeling the electricity of hope wash over them. They had ignited a fire that could not be easily extinguished, and together, they could harness its warmth. "Together, we will build a future that hears every voice," Zyra exclaimed, her heart racing with the thrill of new beginnings. Amidst her joy, she felt a deeper sensation awakening within, an awareness of the bond that was forming between her and Kalen, something that transcended their differences and connected them on a primal level. Kalen looked into Zyra's eyes, his admiration evident. "You fought for your people, Zyra. You inspired them to believe in unity. It's your strength that draws me to you." As the newfound sense of community and freedom enveloped them, Kalen leaned closer, his voice soft yet filled with urgency and certainty. "I want to be more than just an ally. I want to be by your side as we guide the Loria toward a brighter future." Zyra felt her cheeks flush with warmth, a combination of surprise and exhilaration swirling inside her at the sincerity of his words. She had faced ridicule and condemnation, but here stood someone who not only accepted her, but saw her as a partner, not a rival. "You don't know what it means to me, Kalen." In your eyes, I see the potential for something beautiful, something more blessed than mere companionship. Tension thrummed through the atmosphere as the crowd cheered, urging Kaylin and Zyra to solidify their connection. It dawned on Zyra that their bond could become more than just a symbol of unity. It could be a profound melding of their souls, a blending of two worlds into one harmonious union. As the cheering subsided, Kaylin inhaled deeply, the weight of the moment settling over them. He knelt before Zyra, the vibrant energy of the crowd pulsating around them. I want to join you in every way, for in your heart, I have found my purpose, my partner. Zyra felt her pulse quicken, the bond between them shimmering with potent promise. Are you willing to take that step? To embrace the bonds of our souls, our mating bond? Yes, Kaylin replied firmly, his gaze unwavering and sincere. In that moment, they each acknowledged the significance of what they were about to share, a connection that would intertwine their very essences. In a breathless instant, the world around them faded. A bubble of intimacy enveloped them, the roar of the crowd dimming as they focused solely on one another. The energy of their connection surged, a magnetism drawing them closer, urging them toward the inevitable. Before the assembled witnesses, Kaylin leaned forward, their lips meeting gently at first, testing the waters of their newfound bond. A spark ignited between them, electrifying as it flickered into a passionate blaze. It was a kiss filled with promise, one that spoke not just of love, but of collaboration, resilience, and connection that defied barriers. As they pulled away, the warmth of Zyra's breath lingered on Kaylin's skin. He gazed into her eyes, filled with mutual understanding and respect. With this bond, he whispered, we promise to protect and nurture not only our worlds, but the future of all people. Together, Zyra echoed, her heart swelling with an overwhelming sense of hope. And through our union, we shall redefine the meaning of strength in our realms. Behind them, the crowd erupted in resounding applause, witnessing the vigorous birth of a new tradition. Their kiss had not only solidified their bond, but declared a new chapter, one where love and unity became symbols of liberation against a backdrop filled with oppression. In the coming days, Zyra and Kaylin dedicated themselves to setting the foundation for a new council, one that would represent all voices, humans and Thalorians alike. They convened with Elder Ryler and influential figures from both backgrounds, fostering dialogue steeped in understanding. As they delved into discussions about governance, it was clear that their partnership was more than just political. It was personal. The romancing energy between them shifted fluidly from public discourse to private moments filled with laughter, shared dreams, and the exploration of each other's customs. Late-night discussions transformed into playful arguments about whose cultural practices would shape their future together. They delighted in discovering the nuances of each other's worlds, painting a vivid picture of coexistence against the canvas of days gone by. One evening, as dusk draped its golden veil over the Loria, they sat beneath a colossal bioluminescent tree that glowed a soft blue, illuminating their faces. Kaylin looked deeply into Zyra's eyes, feeling the weight of their union settle within him. "Tell me about your people's mating rituals," he asked, curiosity dancing in his tone. "I want to know everything about you." Zyra chuckled softly, the sound brightening the air around them. "Mating for my people is a sacred union, built upon trust and respect. We share intimate vows beneath the stars, pledging loyalty to one another." She took a moment, a soft blush creeping into her cheeks. It's said that the bond formed during that moment can never be broken, uniting our spirits for eternity. Kaylin's gaze softened as he absorbed her words. He, too, felt the gravity of what their bond represented. There was an intrinsic weight to it, a promise of loyalty, love, and understanding. "And what does it entail for you?" "To mate is to connect on every level," she explained, her voice lowered in reverence. "It is to blend our energies, our very essences, into one. Our souls dance together, creating a harmony that transcends our individual selves." "And how can I honor that in our union?" he inquired, captivated by her passion. Zyra leaned closer, her breath mingling with his. "In our union, you will find the strength to enhance, not just my spirit, but your own. Through our connection, we can shape the future of both our people, sculpting new truths together. Kalen felt a rush of emotion wash over him. The prospect of forging something meaningful with Zyra ignited his soul. Then let us explore this bond fully. I want to embrace the power of our union and show our people that love can transcend boundaries. With that affirmation hanging sweetly in the air, they took in the beauty of the moment. The bioluminescent tree, swaying gently under the evening breeze, wrapped them in its soft glow like nature itself was blessing their union. As the days unfolded into weeks, Kalen and Zyra's bond blossomed with the vibrant color of the world surrounding them. They made passionate vows beneath the watchful glow of the stars, committing to each other amid the rustle of leaves and the gentle sounds of night. Each promise spoken carried the weight of profound importance, intertwining their fates inexorably. Their mating bond was more than a ritual. It became a promise they nurtured daily, a commitment not just to one another, but to the people they had vowed to support. They grew stronger together, the union igniting ripples of change across the Loria. However, their journey was not without challenges. There were still those who clung to the old ways and resented their bond. Hurdles would arise, forcing them to confront the remnants of prejudice head-on. Yet time and again, they found that their love empowered them to face any opposition. One fateful day, during an assembly to showcase the council's progress, a group opposed to their union protested fiercely. "You are forsaking our traditions, bringing chaos to our society," they yelled. Standing before the assembly, Kalen held Zyra's hand, shaking off the stinging words. "We are not here to erase tradition, but to evolve it. Our union is proof that unity creates strength, not division." Zyra affirmed his sentiments. "We stand together to honor both our cultures, aiming for a future where children will live free from the shackles of ignorance and presumption. It is time to break the chains of the past and embrace a future we can build together." The crowd erupted into a chorus of support, dismantling the opposition with their voices. It became evident that the bond between Kalen and Zyra was not just a personal journey. It had threaded itself into the very fabric of their society. People began to rally around the idea of a united Deloria, a testament to the strength that comes from love, acceptance, and cooperation. As seasons changed, the rich landscapes of Deloria stood witness to a new era, one where Kalen and Zyra's union flourished. Underneath the vast starry skies, they found their place among the stars, forging connections that would sustain generations to come. Their love story became one of hope, a tale whispered through the halls of every council meeting, inspiring both young and old. They were not merely lovers, they were visionaries, builders of a bridge between worlds, their hearts forever intertwined, driving Deloria toward a brighter future. And thus, through their love and the power it wielded, they proved that when humanity and alien worlds dance together in harmony, the heart's call can transcend the boundaries that once held them apart.